Hi everybody, let's check out exercise 55. Now this is a very simple looking one and yet it is weird. This is a very odd looking um, shape and it's not so obvious how the heck we need to make this thing. And so I think the only thing that seems to be simple about it is this profile right here on the side, right? It's got a fairly straightforward profile here. Well, when you're looking at it from the front, it's got this wedge, which means you can't do an extrusion. It doesn't look like it can do an extrusion straight down. And then when you're looking at it, this is from the front, you can do an extrusion straight forward, maybe, but then it widens up. So it's just a very odd looking um, piece, and I don't know. Like we're just gonna have to think about this a bit. I think definitely we're gonna make this first and extrude it out this whole width of 100. But it looks like we might have to do a couple remove extrudes. Maybe make this shape in the front and extrude it back, and then make another one on top in order to get this profile look to it. Okay, so yeah, definitely a very odd looking thing. So, well, what more to do than just to make it, right? So let's do it. So that profile that would be on the right is let's see, that would be on the right face. So we're going to make a new sketch on the right plane, and we will right click, hide all planes, and we will hit N to look on our sketch. Okay, now it's basically this shape right here. It's basically a square that was 50 by 50 with a little chunk cut out of it, but we're gonna just draw it as is. So I'm gonna go up here a bit, come down, over, up, and then let's dimension it. Hit D for dimension. This one's 15. This one's 50. And this one is 50. And that should be all we need. Okay, we'll accept that sketch. This thing is going to have an extrusion. This width is 100. So let's go ahead and do that. Get my extrude tool, click on the face, change that to 100. I want it to go in the other direction. I don't know why, but I do. And there you go. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create our profiles for extruding out what we see. So I'm going to start with this front face profile. So you can see it's if this whole thing's 100, and you got 35 and 35, that's 70. So this must be 30, and then this is 60. Okay, so let's make that shape. It's a trapezoid, and we're going to do that by making a sketch on this front plane. I'll hit N to look straight on. I'm also going to use the Use tool to put this line in there, because anytime you have a line that's not in the plane of your sketch, it's going to be hard to put it into your sketch unless you do something like what I just did. Okay, so let's use, I think it would be nice to use, to get some symmetry here, let's, well, let's use this. There we go. That's the midpoint that I want. Come on. There, that's the midpoint I want. And we'll go straight up. Okay, and then we can use the symmetric for this line and this line. And now we can dimension it. So I said from here to here is 30 and up here is 60. So let's do that. From here to here is 60. And then this is 30. Okay, so I'm going to accept that, go to my isometric view, and you can see we're going to just sweep that forward with a remove extrude. And so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to say through all. Merge scope, I need to select my part, because obviously I don't know why it didn't figure that out on its own, but it didn't. It's okay. And we're going to get that. Now, you notice that's not the part. Like this part does not have, if you look down from the top here, this is how we can tell this is not done. Because if you look down from the top, you see this shape, but you do not see these sides, these slanted sides. So what we're going to have to do is grab those lines that are projected upward and then extrude it back down to the base. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that. Well, that brings up an interesting point, which is that I don't have a face to put my sketch on anymore. I suppose I could do it on this face right here, and that's okay, but some of our lines are going to be hidden. The other thing I could do is, I know this overall height is 50, and I could create a new plane up here and make the sketch up here. I'm going to try making it on this face here and just see what happens. If it becomes problematic, we'll back up and try something else. So I'm going to put a new sketch here, hit N, and I want all these projected lines. So I want this line, and I want that line, and I want that line, and I want that line, and that line. Okay, and so see how that created exactly the profile that I wanted. So that's kind of cool, because everything was already set up the way we wanted it. I could tell that because, right, this was 30 by 60, and this is also 30 by 60. So let's be cool with that. So we'll accept that sketch, go to my isometric view. I'm going to extrude, remove, and I can't select the things that are hidden. I think if I click on the sketch though over there, I can get it. Now it's going in the wrong direction, so I'm going to extrude it up in the opposite direction, and I'm going to also make that through all. And then we'll accept that, and now it looks like we have the part that we want. Okay, so the way to check it is, let's look at it from the front. Does it look like our front drawing? It looks like the front drawing to me. Okay, so then let's rotate it and look at it from the top. Does it look like our drawing? Absolutely it does. Okay, so this is the completed part. Little weird. See, this is very deceptive. This one looks like you could make it in just a couple steps, but it's actually a little more complicated than that. That's why it's a good one to try. I'm curious to see if you guys can come up with some better ways to do it. That was what occurred to me, but you know, you guys think differently than me, which is a good thing, actually. I'm almost wondering if we had just made that top one, if that would have just, I think that might have worked, actually. We may not have had to do that middle step. But hey, you know what? That's part of the fun of this, is learning from making mistakes, or, you know, finding more efficient ways to do it as you go. But yeah, now I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, you know what? I probably could have just created that sketch, that second remove extrude sketch, and used that only, and I think we would have created the same part. All right, well, there you go. Now, one of the things we could do, actually, let's do that. That'd be fun. Let's roll back to here. And I'm going to take sketch 2 and extrude 2, move them to the front, and then roll back to extrude 3 and see if it makes the same part. Now the problem is oh yeah, I made that sketch based off of other lines. Okay, well that's okay. Let's edit sketch 3. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're going to delete sketch 3. I gotta know, man. I gotta know if it would have worked. Okay, so I'll just delete all these because I already made it. We already saw that. I'm gonna just try a different approach, which is kind of, I'm gonna look at it from the top down, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a plane that is offset from the bottom by 50 in the other direction. up here, right? See how it just touches the top right there? Okay, and then I'm going to accept that plane, make a sketch on that plane, hit N to look straight down, and then let's create what we're shooting for. Now I'm going to project this edge up so I can have that, and then I need that edge, and then I'm going to make those two lines. You know, if you want symmetry, one of the easier ways to do that, other than what I just did, would be to do a mirror. Okay, and I'm going to make a line, construction line. It goes down the middle. Because the mirror is kind of fun because it creates your sketch lines and points, but it also sets up all that symmetry. So if I set this as my mirror line and click on that, now all I have to do is dimension it. And so let's get the dimension tool. I'm going to go from this point to this point, 60, and from this point to this point, that's 30. And then I'm going to accept that sketch, go into my isometric view, and let's do a remove extrude, selecting this in the other direction. And I'm going to use, do you guys remember using the vertex thing? If I do vertex and then select that point right there, it's going to come right down to where I want it to be. And now I'm going to lose that plane. Yeah, that actually made the part. But, you know, for some people that would actually be challenging. So, you know, it's all good. It just goes to show you there's many ways to make a drawing. And they could all be legitimate. All right, cool. Well, that made the video longer than it should have been. But, you know, sometimes it's good to try things different ways. You learn more that way. All right, have fun with that.